Good morning, everyone. In this week's Torah portion, there is a verse that says that Yaakov Hevel Nachlato, the Jewish people, are like the string of God's inheritance. And the question is, why does God compare us to a rope? And there are many answers given. One answer is that in the olden days, when they measured a field for sale, they would use a rope to measure the distance, and they would use the rope as a measuring stick. And therefore it says that the measure of God's portion is the Jewish people. A second answer given is that just like a rope is made up of many strands intertwined, and that's the strength of the rope, so too the strength of the Jewish people is their interconnectedness with one another. But a third answer given by the Alter Rabbi in the book of Tanya is that when you have a rope that's connecting two people, and the rope is severed, and then you tie the rope back together again in the middle, the distance between the two people is actually shorter now. And therefore the Alter Rebbe says that it says in the Talmud that the place of a Baal Teshuvah, someone who sinned and then did repentance, is higher than a perfectly righteous person. And he uses this metaphor of the rope, that there's a rope that connects every one of us to God, metaphorically, and sometimes we sever that relationship, that rope, through a sin. But then when we retie our connection to God, now the distance between us and God is actually closer than even before we sinned. And this idea is also found in life in general. You know, on Rosh Hashanah we dip the apple in the honey. But the custom actually is that we continue to dip the apple in the honey all the way through the holiday of Sukkot. So tomorrow night when you sit down to the Shabbat meal, you don't dip the apple in the honey, but you dip the challah in the honey rather than in salt, symbolizing our prayer for a sweet year. We do this all the way till the end of the holiday of Sukkot. And the question is, when we dip the apple in honey on Rosh Hashanah, the apple is sweet to begin with. Why do we need to dip a sweet apple into sweet honey? And the answer is that there are two types of sweetness in life. There's the sweetness of the apple and the sweetness of the honey. The sweetness of the apple is sweet to begin with. This represents those areas of life that was sweet to begin with. We were blessed with health, we were blessed with a good family, we were blessed with a good mind, all the sweet blessings of life. But the bee represents those aspects of our life that in the beginning were not only not sweet, but they actually stung us. We had pain, we had struggle, we had hardship. And then we turned the sting of the bee into the sweetness of the bee. Meaning we took our struggles and our hardships and our challenges and we turned it into something positive. And everyone knows in life, those things that were originally painful and difficult, that we worked on and we earned and we transformed into something sweet. If we had a struggle with a child or with a relationship, with a marriage, and then we rebuilt it, and we turned it into something sweet, it's like the sweetness of the honey over the apple. As sweet as the apple is, the honey, the stings in life that turn into sweetness, those are the greatest sources of sweetness. And so when we come to the new year, instead of thinking about all of our problems, think about all the opportunities to turn the problems and the stings into sweetness. And then the coming year will be the sweetest year of our life, because we'll be able to look back and remember the time we had challenges in that area and how we worked hard and achieved and earned that sweetness through our effort. There's a story told about this newlywed couple, Jennifer and David, and they got married, and as a wedding gift, he bought his wife a brand new Tesla. And a few days after the wedding, she's driving it, going through an intersection, and she gets into a full-on collision, and the car is completely ruined. And she steps out of the car, thank God she's okay, and she's looking at the car, and she's thinking, this is the brand new car that my husband just gave me as a wedding gift. He's going to be so upset when he sees how the car is all totaled. And then the police come and they ask for license and registration. And she goes to the glove box to take out the registration. And there she sees a card with her name on it from her husband. And she opens up the card, and the card says, "Dear Jennifer, if you're reaching for the glove box because you were in an accident, remember that it's not the car that I love, it's you that I love. And as long as you're okay, everything else is replaceable." And of course, it brought her to tears, realizing the depth of her husband's love and thoughtfulness. And when you look at that, you say, as much joy as the new Tesla brought her, that card, which came through a difficulty, a challenge, surely will be a greater expression of love and will be remembered and cherished in their relationship, and did more for their relationship than any new Tesla could have, because it only came through a challenge, through a hardship. Let us look at our opportunities ahead to turn anything difficult into our life into the sweetness of the honey of our life. Have a wonderful day.